Hello and welcome to the Crookedrivercast. I am Robert, your host, and joining me every week is my friend Tom as we attempt to stay in front of some of what is going on in Northeast Ohio. This is show 27, recorded on September 20th, 2025. Another week has gone by, and we've got a lot of stuff to talk about it. So let's go.
In the morning, Rob.
In the morning, Tom. How was your morning?
Oh, okay, we're going to go there. I had a physical this morning.
Well, I got to at least let the listeners know that Tom might be a little extra ornery today because...
I'm okay.
Okay. You're coming off of a whole night of not eating and stuff.
Yeah, but I just stuffed my face with a sausage McMuffin. Sausage and egg McMuffin.
All right, well, thanks for letting me know, because then I may have to make sure I keep you awake and you don't fall asleep after that.
That's what the coffee's for.
Oh, see? Drugs.
So, just had a mini physical and passed 5 of my 6 metrics that you need to pass for just shitty healthcare I got. So,
what? Oh my goodness! You passed. So
actually should have got a 6 out of 6. My blood pressure was a little high this morning. I don't know why.
I wonder.
I don't think the person taking the measurement did a good job.
No,
because it was so much higher than normal. So,
well, I mean, it could have been for the last 2 weeks of life.
Yeah, maybe.
Speaking of the last week, I don't know. We've tossed around as we've moved through this. Gotten through 6 months of this show or whatever. Whether we should do. We've talked about the concept of a national story segment, and we really want to focus on Ohio, especially Northeast Ohio. But some weeks, I don't know about you, but I feel like there are some stories that are so big that I think we have to talk about it, because ignoring it would be weird. Example last week was obviously Charlie Kirk being assassinated. Another example was what we had talked about briefly about the flood in Texas. When stuff like that happens, I don't know. What do you think? You think we should? Those things you think we should touch on, or?
Yeah. I don't think there's a way around it. I mean, part of me
depends on the story. It doesn't have to be every week.
Part of me wouldn't mind doing a 45-minute separate show.
Yep. Where this could lead to, yeah. We could do a national show eventually.
Yeah, there's just sometimes you just can't ignore what's going on. And even though you're trying to focus in on Ohio, you try to tie it together with Ohio, which oftentimes we can't. But
when story gets big enough, it there's ramifications throughout the country and in a lot of states, and we are literally living through one right now.
Yeah, I would like to add a segment. You know what? Segment. You know what we need? We need to go out for a beer and talk this over.
There we go. Anything for excuse to have a beer.
Or bourbon and a cigar.
A bourbon, an old-fashioned, definitely a cigar, regardless.
Yeah, it's something we need to talk about. And if you have any thoughts on this, let us know.
Where would they let us know, Tom?
I think they should email us at crookedrivercast@gmail.com.
All right, that's one plug already. We just barely started the show.
And they can subscribe to our podcast.
Yes, leave a review if you like what you hear.
Yeah. And you can find us on all the podcast platforms and on YouTube. Platforms and YouTube. Yeah, I wasn't ready for that, Rob.
I know. I like that. Spontaneity, Tom. Spontaneity. So this week, what are we dealing with? Well, I think we're dealing with the aftermath of the Charlie Kirk assassination. This last week was quite eye-opening for, I think, a lot of people, including myself to some point, but maybe not as much as those who have their head a little farther buried in the sand than we do. And the reactions, wow. So, I was on X and Man, I found some triggered memes, some memes that trigger some people. Whew. And some of the responses I got were quite vile and disgusting. And these are just regular people. And it kind of brought up what started my list of stories this week is, we'll get into this later, but does the First Amendment protect you at work? And as I'm digging around looking for stuff, I ran into a couple of, I ran into one speech from Steve Deace, who I believe is from the Blaze Network. I think he's still there. And he has a podcast. I believe it's a radio show in some areas too, possibly. No, I don't remember anymore. I haven't listened to him in a while. And he's talking at the Conservative Partnership Institution, the CPI, I guess. And I figured he asks, do we know where we are? Are people awake? Where is the country? And what do we do now? And in this next clip, he's talking a little bit about what he believes is one of our problems. Our main problem is that our social compact is broke. He goes into a little more detail, which I cut out just for time because this is a 45-minute speech. I pulled like four clips out of it and whittled them down as much as I could without taking out the context. But here's how he starts and kind of gets into what he feels we need to do.
I can't promise. I think I'm out of tears. I know that I'm out of patience. Why was Charlie assassinated? We understand it was a spiritual war. We understand it was over the gospel. But why? Why now? What is going on in this moment right now? The social compact in America is broken. And I think if you do not understand that, you won't understand a single syllable of what Steve Bannon just said 5 minutes ago. Now, what is a social compact? All human relationships are governed by a social compact. It is the system of ethics, shared values, virtues, vision that brings human beings together, whether it's a business partnership, whether it's a marriage, whether it's a political party, whether it's a country. You only start shooting your opposition when the social compact is broken and you don't want it put back together again. And you have to understand the same forces that did the shooting at Utah Valley State, they broke that social compact. They did it on purpose. They do not want to live with you. And they won't. And they keep sending signals to people like Senator Langford. The social compact is broken. Everyone in this room has a family member or a neighbor on their street who cheered when Charlie was assassinated, which means they would do the same if that bullet landed in you. And if you do not understand this and where we are at, then I can't help you, and you're of no use to any of us. This is where we are. There is no negotiating with this. There is no dialoguing with this. Everything Charlie did was to defeat this. The dialogue, the debate was to defeat it, not to coexist with it. He recognized this is a zero-sum game. We must understand the hour is late where we are. My buddy Scott Rasmussen has a poll out today that shows 15% of Americans think that the country is better off that Charlie Kirk was assassinated. 15% of this country would be almost 40 million people. That would be the largest standing army in the history of our species. I want to talk about the solutions because of what time it is. I'm going to assume everybody here tonight knows what time it is. So then what do we do?
So what do we do? He says. So he's in D.C. It's probably a fundraiser of some sorts at Washington, D.C. He is scheduled to be speaking. He was scheduled to be speaking with Charlie in a few weeks from now. And that date is still on. He still plans to do it. What we've seen in the last week is pretty vile stuff. And so he has three solutions. Let me get back to my notes. Three things that we need to do. Or what Steve says he's afraid of, what he says earlier in the clip is the next stop is Antietam. And if anybody remembers, not me, I had to look it up. Antietam is a battle. I knew that. I couldn't remember what battle it was. That's Antietam is not only the deadliest Civil War battle, but the deadliest single day battle in American military history. Over 22,000 Americans died that day in Civil War. So that's what he, of course he's speaking. So this is what he does. He's a history buff, and I'm not sure if Antietam is where the next stop is, but this is his. So what's number one? He thinks number one is, well, first we need to do is punish evil. Let's see what he has to say.
Number one, forgive me, I'm a Bible worldview guy. I'm a biblical worldview guy. It's my prime directive. So I'm going to start there. The scriptures say the only reason God permits government on this earth is to be an avenging angel, a sword of righteousness against evil. The people in this room who hold elected office and the ones who are not, you must punish evil. You must punish it. You must. And I don't want to hear, well, look what I'll do it to us when they have power. They've already done it all. They're all going to do it all over again. 2005 called, and it wants its talking points back. That's not where we are right now. My friend's body is cold to testify to that truth. That's not where we are. We have to punish evil. Use the power that we have. Punish evil. A literal invasion was allowed into this country. Who's gone to prison for it? The people that did that invasion lied, the greatest lie in the history of Americana, that the president wasn't incompetent. Who was running the country? Who's gone to prison for this? Who's been referred to prosecution? Who's been arrested? I don't know what you guys talk about in DC, but I can tell you in Des Moines, and when I go speak for TPUSA in California, I'm going to go to Boise later this week. I'm going to hear the same thing, coast to coast, all over the country. What they want to see is punishments. That's what they want to see. We have to punish evil. If we don't punish evil, there will be more evil. I promise you.
And as he says in one point that I clipped out, if anyone's been a parent, you know if you don't punish bad behavior, you are almost guaranteed to get more bad behavior. So you brought up Ohio GOP lawmakers have introduced Bill 457 coming in the wake of the assassination of Charlie Kirk and Democratic House Speaker Hortman. 457 seeks to defend or define state hate crime statutes by adding victims of partisan affiliation, I guess is the way they say it. The fact that I don't, it's weird that this isn't already kind of a thing. I mean, I'm not a big fan of hate crimes. Like, it doesn't, like if you assault somebody and put them in the hospital, it's kind of given that you hate that person. So why does there have to be an extra statute for hate crime?
There shouldn't be.
Right. So that part I'm not, whatever, but something has to be done. These people have to be scared of what they at least to some point, right? There has to be some accountability or some deterrent.
Oh, I think there will be here soon.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to, President Trump is labeled, I don't know if he did an executive order yet or he will be, but he labeled Antifa as a terrorist group. So right. I think, and they're gonna pull RICO on Soros, and they're gonna look for where the money's coming from for all these groups. And I think there's going to be arrests here soon.
I hope you're correct. I mean, they have to do something. We have to escalate the punishment because they are. I mean, this is getting completely out of control and needs to be nipped in the butt. And because it's ramping up. And I mean, we didn't live through the 60s, but I can imagine this was very similar feelings back then in the 60s. People were getting assassinated. What seems to be left and right, at that time, but it wasn't. But yeah, there was quite a few people in a 4 or 5 year period that were assassinated for political reasons in the 60s.
Yeah, the difference now is online behavior.
Well, yep. Thank you for the segue, Tom. The next clip I have from Steve is number 2. So number 1, he says we need to punish it. It needs, and not just the person, the assassin, that we didn't actually talk much about last week, which is just fine because we didn't know a whole lot, but not just punishing this person or Luigi, whatever, the guy who, shot the healthcare CEO, but people want to see punishments from, why does the former Secretary of State allowed to have her own server in her house and allowed to wipe it clean, even though the FBI knew that she did this. They said, well, we don't want to affect an election. Punishments need to, I don't care who you are. You need to hold. They just tried to put the Republican candidate in prison for 95 years.
Yeah, and they arrested his lawyers too.
Arrested some of his political team, which is
illegal. I don't even know how they got away with that. But that's just because nobody's pushing back.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Punishment. They have so Steve goes on and asks in this next clip, where do we think that they think they are? So we know, where do we think we are in this? Well, where do we think they are? Where do we think they think they are? And he says, well, this bad behavior, this reaction, it needs to be publicly shunned. There needs to be, when you're this vile, it needs to have a cost to it. And he explains.
Where do you think they think we are, and how comfortable do you think they are in that position that now the stuff that was left for Marx was right 14 on a discus page at MSNBC.com's comment sections a decade ago? Now teachers, nurses, public officials, financial advisors just post this stuff under their names, and they're proud to do it. Where do you think we are? Because I promise you, it's much later on the clock than James Langford thinks it is. Much later. It's very late if we're this comfortable. Think of a marriage. There are stages of its dissolution. Maybe at first, when things go wrong, maybe we can put it back together again. So there are certain things you don't say about the other party, even in counseling. Because if you say some of these things, even if you're thinking them, they're like red lines. Places where if I say this, there's no going back. That essentially pronounces this marriage is over. That's what they're doing now. Hey, if you unfortunately have a heart attack while wearing anything with TPUSA swag on it and you go to the hospital, are you confident Nurse Ratchet, who was happy to get on TikTok and lose herself like Eminem over Charlie's assassination, you confident she's going to overlook that swag and treat you with the Hippocratic Oath? Because that was the same nurse that said you should lose your job for not taking a toxic genetic serum everybody knows never worked. The hour is late. We have to publicly shame this out of existence. That's the only antidote.
Good example, right?
This stuff has to be shunned. There should be a graveyard of lost jobs, lost careers.
Hey, Jimmy.
The social stigma to this should be overwhelming. No one would say, here's my NAMBLA membership, and let me show you the catalog of the children that I abused. No one would do that because they would know the social cost of doing so would be so overwhelming, they'd lose their place as an American. That's what we must do to this political sadism. It cannot be permitted to see the light of day at all.
I also like to bring up, I did clip in between. He does a lot of pausing during this. So you may hear that. I did clip it just to save. I was saving like 20 seconds, 30 seconds on a clip. So yeah, publicly shun it. So we have punish it. We've got the GOP wants harsher penalties on political violence. We also, which I conveniently skipped right over, which was the other story that you brought up was from Cleveland.com, was Ohio's weighing in, allowing politicians, judges to carry handguns at work. Currently, they're not allowed to. Some judges are. Depending on the court, I believe. Is that correct, you think? I think that's what I read, yeah.
Yeah.
But we're not. There's maybe we could be able to bring it in when, I don't know, I'm not sure if the defendant should be armed when he goes to court. I guess maybe that's...
okay. But I mean...
Yes. So there's like a... But judges and if you're in the state Senate, senator at the state Senate level or House, should you be able to conceal carry?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think that would be a really good place you should be able to conceal carry.
I think it makes sense. I think they do in DC.
I think they're allowed to, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know why.
Something recent, though.
I don't know if it is. Is it?
Maybe not. It might not be. I can't remember. It came up came up recently. It was a few years ago, maybe a new House member was bringing it in, I think, and they had a big stink.
Yeah,
about
but they were allowed to.
I think they were allowed to. Yeah, I think that's why I'm thinking it was.
Yeah, it wasn't something new.
Judges, it makes sense. I mean, having a judge carry makes sense to me. I mean, you're sitting up there on the bench. I guess you're in a courthouse where you go through metal detectors, but in and out of the courthouse, that kind of stuff, you can be vulnerable. So, Second Amendment right? Why should?
Where's he gonna put his holster? There's nothing underneath those robes.
Oh, no, you gave me that visual. Oh, jeez. That's true, but Tom, they have solutions. I can point you to some websites if you're looking at doing that. I mean, they have body bands. You can, I guarantee you can have it sewn into your robe if you find the right person.
You know how hard that would be to draw? The robe just lifts off.
Oh boy,
there can't be no retention at all.
Yes, you think you're correct. But yes, they do have.
I guess he could have an ankle holster.
Well, they have body bands. You ever seen the one? They advertise them for women who go jogging and stuff, and like yoga pants and stuff. Yoga pants. Anyway, so
I've never seen a pair look good. Only on television.
Moving right past that. Increasing the penalties, maybe making it less attractive to go after politicians because they might be carrying guns. That was punish. Shun. That brings up our next story that we were in the list, which is so like he says, are you confident if you had a TP USA shirt on and you had a heart attack, went to the hospital, would the nurse take care of you with her all? Will she give you 110% at your most dire moment, or would she, take their time getting over to you because she saw that shirt on? Well, what if you're in Cleveland and you've got a Trump flag in your house? I know this is probably highly unlikely in Cleveland, but if you've got a Trump flag or a TP USA, or you put up a sign saying RIP Charlie Kirk and your house is on fire, and the chief is an anti, do you think he's going to give you his all? I'm not sure. I think if they're allowed to be this vile in public, I think this emboldens them a little bit more, and maybe not. So what's happening is props to Mayor Bibb.
And no.
Well, right now, yes,
no.
We'll see. What do you mean no?
No, he got suspended. Okay, this fire chief posted something on social media that was celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, basically, right?
Right. He said he posted a picture of an assault rifle with the caption, "Bring on the next sacrifice."
Right. So, okay, so this is the fire chief who's got
Anthony
no
Luke
sense.
is his name. Anthony Luke.
Yeah.
But he's on paid administrative leave while they investigate.
That's the thing, man. He's on paid administrative leave. Come on.
It's Justin Bibb. I'm shocked he did anything. I really am.
He didn't do anything.
My point.
He's getting paid. I wish I was on paid administrative leave.
Fair point. I was about to say props to Mayor Bibb, but let's follow this through and make sure he actually gets fired. Because right now he's not fired. He's on paid administrative leave, like you said.
Yeah. Pending investigation. We'll see how that goes.
So I'm expecting, because I'm cynical, I'm expecting that this is all going to blow over and he's going to be put back in. And we'll be talking about this in a few weeks. But I mean, I guess, public pressure would make he'd have to do this. But he says, yesterday a social media post by Fire Chief Anthony Luke was brought to my attention. In it, he shared an image of a rifle, blah, blah, we said that, to bring on the next sacrifice. The post romanticized gun violence, a matter far too serious in a city where we mourn too many families every week. That's about enough. I'm going to say that. But
should have been fired.
Yes.
No what investigation? Did he post it or did he not?
Well, yes, of course he posted it.
Did somebody break into his account?
You never know.
Maybe.
You never know. We got to at least look into it, Tom, before we take him off of paid administrative leave. No, I don't.
No.
I don't think that he will be fired. But hey, I'm going to give. He brought his name into the forefront. I mean, it became. I mean, I'll give him something. We know about it because he suspended him. I don't think we would have known about it maybe if he didn't suspend him. So there's that. We'll see. The city of Cleveland is reviewing similar posts made by 2 other employees, an EMS and a firefighter.
Yeah, EMS.
Yes.
You have your let's say you have your TPUSA T-shirt on, and you were in an accident, and here comes this EMS driver.
You got a Trump bumper sticker in your car.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. So it needs to be publicly shunned. Like he brings up, nobody's online saying, NAMBLA. If anyone remembers what NAMBLA is, it's National Association for Man Boy Love or something.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a pedophile.
It's a pedophile in the group. Yeah, it's a pedophile group. And the other example that I cut out was, he's on Facebook posting they burned a cross in the black neighbor's backyard. Because why? Because they would be shunned and they would never be able to get a job unless they changed their name and face and all. They'd have to hide themselves. Hey, really, we're just playing by the rules that the left created a few years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Because when we don't shun these things, I believe this is what happens. It emboldens them. Nothing's going to happen to me. So what's the other story? Recently, Jimmy Kimmel gets his show gets canceled.
What did you call him?
Was it Jimmy? Or what is his name?
Jimmy Kimmel?
Kimmel? What did I say? Kimball?
I think
did I say Kimmel? Yeah. Sorry. Jimmy Kimmel.
I mean, he doesn't deserve any better.
Jimmy Thimble. He gets go ahead.
No, I was going to say Jimmy Kimmel gets canceled from ABC because he said something that was basically a lie, but they can kind of put in news and make it a joke, but it's a lie, but it's a joke. Who knows what it is? It's this gray area. But he got canceled for it, and he's done this a million times. I don't know why just now. I maybe because it was because of Charlie Kirk, and it was an assassination. But he's done this type of thing before.
Right. So
he blamed it on MAGA.
Right. So he said that, of course, she was shot by one of his own supporters, which was completely untrue. It's completely untrue.
But what I was going to say was, everybody's up in arms because somebody got canceled off the air. But what about Roseanne Barr, Tim Allen? Mm-hmm. What, how many, I should have wrote them all down, but a bunch of, who was the girl from the Star Wars offshoot?
Karina. Yep. From the Star Wars, from the, I
forget the name of the show. I never watched it, but
she was actually one of the better parts of the show when I watched it. Yeah.
Yeah. And the show tanked after that, right?
Yeah. It tanked because she was a great, I think, I watched a couple seasons of it. And once they let her go, Gina Carrero.
Yeah. Carrera, I think.
Once they canceled it, my daughter and I were watching it, and I was like, I'm not watching it anymore. And she's like, why? I'm like, because they got rid of one of my favorite characters. I mean, what she brought to the show was great because there was sort of a spurring love interest in the show, and she was a freaking badass on the show. First of all, and it pissed me off because I'm watching it with my daughter. Like, here's a good example of a woman hero. Not because she's not just a hero because they put her up there because she's a woman. No, because she's already a badass.
Right.
And she played that. And so I was really mad. So yeah, there's one.
Okay. But those people actually got canceled. Some of them got demonetized. Oh, let's say Alex Jones. There's Gavin McInnes. Tucker Carlson.
Although he's probably making more money now than he did. Well, maybe.
Yeah, no, he's doing fine. But some of these other people like Roseanne Barr and Tim Allen, I think he's back now, and Roseanne Barr's on her way back. But they lost almost a decade of their career. But they were actually canceled because some of them were demonetized. They were unhireable. Kimmel's can go get another job.
They removed the president of the United States from every social media platform.
Yeah.
So it really, Jimmy Kimmel his show being canceled wasn't even why I only brought Jimmy Kimmel up because of what happened yesterday. Did you hear what happened last night?
No.
There's protests outside the ABC affiliate in Sacramento,
yep.
And they fired.
Who's
they fired.
paying for that?
They fired 3 shots at the building.
There you go.
First of all, questions.
Who paid for that?
Questions, Tom. It's California. Guns are banned, and I mean, basically, you cannot get a gun in California. I mean, it's really hard to get. So, how did this happen? I thought when you put laws in effect that even the bad guys follow the laws. So, I'm not sure how this could even have happened. I'm questioning whether there was even a gun there because it is California. But who do you think is shooting at ABC affiliates in California?
Right wingers.
Yes, definitely.
MAGA
is so mad that they got rid of Kimmel. That they're no. Again, when you don't shun it, it emboldens them. They think that this is the norm. This is the social contagion, which is social media and the bubble that we get put in by the algorithms. So these people think that this is when they put this vile stuff and they celebrate it. I'm watching Charlie Kirk debate an Oxford student when and before Charlie Kirk, one other time this student was at Oxford in this. You ever seen those Oxford debates? They're in this nice mahogany room with all these. It's all proper in England stuff. And he's advocating. I was watching a video. There were A/B in it. He was advocating for violence. This guy, the student, he's like the head of some student group there. And then they cut to him debating Charlie. And then they cut to him celebrating Charlie's death. Because they're so in a bubble, most of these people, I believe, that they think this is okay. Well, no, they need to be shunned. You need to be taken out of public life.
Out of society.
Yes. Now, if you want to think it, be my guest. Think it all you want. But like he says, nobody's going, hey, look at the pictures of the cross I was burning and the black people down the street's yard. No, they're not. Because they'd be shunned and wouldn't be able to do anything in life. So, this is what you get. Well, and lastly, his third point is probably, for the show, it's probably the most important part because it's all local. You know how we were having a debate on gerrymandering and redistricting a couple shows ago, maybe? Yeah, I think I'm all in on that now. Let's listen to what Steve has to say.
Number 3, and this actually dovetails to what Governor Biggs said a few minutes ago. Our red states have to be every bit as red as the blue states are blue. I know we all laughed and loved the meltdown videos from 2016 and 2024. But the truth of the matter, if you lived in California, did life really change all that much because Donald Trump won? In January of 2017, some of you may not know this, in January of 2017, when Donald Trump took office, there were fewer elected Democrats in America than at any time since before FDR's New Deal, before the great Democrat coalition reset. Over almost 100 years. And yet, if you lived in Oregon, Washington State, California, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Delaware, did life really change all that much because literally Hitler was in charge? No. California didn't get up. They didn't get up in California. Governor Newsom was like, you know what? I think we should probably stop giving free drug needles and condoms to tranny homeless people because Trump won. No, they just doubled down and gave out even more. And then they passed laws and said, if you don't let us make your kids tranny and homeless, we'll take them from you. They're doing that now. Life did not change in these places. They have complete and total control of the governing infrastructure there, of the policy making there. That is what we need to do to our red states.
I agree. What this has really brought to light for me is, I think a lot of it is the ineptitude of the GOP. Tom, it's almost like it's rigged, almost like it's intentional. In some ways, I look at it. One side is pushing hard, vile rhetoric and violence, and the other side says we have to keep calm. We have to be nice and talk to each other. Yeah,
I think that's changing.
I think that is changing. I think that there is always has to be a part of that there talking to each other. I mean, as the great philosophers Pink Floyd says, what happens when we stop talking? Something to that effect. I can't remember the words now. But I think that always has to be a part of it, right? We can't ever, but there are people that don't want to talk. They are not going to talk. They're not going to live under the same rules that we live under. They don't want to. And I think we need a party that backs us, not holds us back and holds us down.
Well,
and I think we've had a lot of that on the GOP side. Yeah,
I don't think it's actually Republican anymore. It's a populist movement. Right. So they're going to have to change with their constituents.
And we've been talking about people making comments. Fire chief, he's just a person. He just made a comment again, thinking he's in his own bubble, thinking he's going to get praised for this. I mean, you don't put that up there because you're going to get, criticism.
I'm besides myself with what some people wrote and got fired for, and I'm just like, what were you thinking?
Yes.
I mean, like, to me, there's definitely like a mental. Something mentally isn't working properly. It's just nobody, and I don't know how that disconnect happened to them. Like, how do they not realize you can't post this or say this out loud? You can think it. I think bad things all the time. I mean, things come across in my thoughts that I'm like, oh, that's not good. And usually I correct myself.
Right. It's in the passion of the moment. I mean, in certain things, you're mad, you're angry, or you got road rage. And you come, oh, I'm like, no, it's really not that big of a deal.
Like, what are these people doing? Are they in that part of their like mental, minute there where so they're charged up so much about this certain topic that they have to post online in public?
It's the social contagion. Yes,
and really. Some of them have ruined their careers.
How they validate themselves by getting rewarded with likes and stuff.
I guess they go for that dopamine hit,
and they are in. Most of these people probably were shocked as some of the reaction videos as people were getting fired.
Oh, some of them were fantastic,
and now they're crying and bawling. Can't believe I got fired from my job.
Where am I going to get my food from?
Right. So. That's let's touch on this real quick since we're on it. Does the First Amendment protect you at work?
No,
it doesn't. First Amendment protects you from the government punishing you for what you say.
Right.
So you don't shun them, you don't punish them. You allow them, like I cut out in this clip, Texas. Why are you sharing? Why are you governing with Democrats? The last place in this country that should be even close to purple is Texas. What is your problem, Texas? He brings up some of the reddest places in America are the most least populated. Why? Because that's what the Democrats and Republicans, in my opinion, have allowed to happen. So we've talked about, like I said, here's a person, the fire chief, Anthony Luke. You got Jimmy Kimmel saying stuff, getting canceled. This guy getting paid suspension. We'll see if he gets fired. And on and on and on. But it's just the people, right? I mean, you can't really control what the people say. I mean, because, it's not like it's a party or anything. Oh, wait, it actually is. Here's a little clip from Ashland County Fair over the last weekend.
Oh, you got a clip for this?
Oh, clips, yes. Oh, yes.
Oh, nice.
And a quote.
I saw you pulled this article and I was like, holy crap.
Yeah. So this isn't just the people, just individuals saying this. They're getting this, yes, they're in their own bubble, so they think it's okay. But B, they're getting reinforcement from where? Oh, from a party that's backing them. Here you go. Here's what happened at Ashland County Fair last weekend.
On Thursday, however, in the exhibitor's barn, the fair board received complaints about buttons being distributed by the Democratic Party.
This particular instance was a red ball cap with felon across the top of it, and is he dead yet? And some other innuendos about his obituary, and we're referring to the President of the United States.
We don't condone anything of that nature at all. When people sign up to have a vendor space here, it's in our rules.
They were asked kindly once, and then twice, and then they were finally asked to leave.
Hold on, pause it. They were asked to remove the buttons from their table twice, and they said no.
Check this out. There's a button that says resist, and underneath it says 8647. Mm-hmm. We will wake up I can't read the rest of it. It's too small. There's felon, a red cap that says felon. Is he dead yet?
And what buttons are mixed in around those buttons? Kamala Harris buttons.
There's Kamala Harris buttons, yep. Harris walls.
Harry balls.
Harry balls. Stand with Ukraine button. There's a Taco Trump button.
Which I meant to look that up. What is that's?
I don't know. There's something about that. I don't. It's supposed to be disparaging, but it's just a bad meme by them, by the left. And yeah. Let me see what this says. Check this out. A hat says fascism. It says one day we will wake up to his obituary, mm-hmm. 8647. And this is at the GOP, the Democratic regional, right?
Yeah, it is
Ashland.
Yeah, we'll get there. Hold on. Let's finish the clip. Yep. There's one big thing that you got to talk to the organizers of this. There's a big faux pas in here, but I'll let you know that in a second when we get done. Here you go. Here's a finished clip.
So, adding an additional element to this equation is the fact that the Democratic booth, which was shut down here, had been face to face with the Republican booth just across the way. There are high emotions on both sides of the political spectrum.
Yes, sir. What needs to happen now is everybody needs to calm down, chill. Let's back off a little bit and take a look at this.
The sheriff referencing the matter to the U.S. Secret Service.
So that information is all at them right now. Whether or not they do anything is their decision.
I mean, there is free speech in this world, but the county fair and what we're trying to do here with all the kids is not the place for that.
That's what the fair is all about, these kids, and I want to make sure we keep it that way. So this kind of nonsense, that can go somewhere else.
In Ashland, Dave Nethers, Fox 8 News.
For the children.
Just got to play that. So if obviously you can't see the video, but what I noticed in the video is they had this all wrong. When you walked into the building where these booths are at, they had the Republicans on the left and the Democrats on the right. What the hell's going on? Don't know we have this left and right thing we got to keep moving together. That's the first thing I noticed. I was like, why are the Republicans on the left side as you walk in? But yeah, so they asked them a couple of times to remove these, and they said no. The sheriff department has sent this information to the Secret Service, so I'm sure they'll get a call at least, if not more. And here's a statement from the Ashland County Democratic Party. Before I get there, in the original, this is an updated story. The original story said they had asked for comment, and the comment, did they change it? The comment says the only name we would give is this person is the chair. So I was like, oh, well, that's easy to find. So the comment, we'll get to that, but the comment is the Ashland County Democratic Party was ejected from its booth at the Ashland County Fair yesterday, September 18th, 2025. 3 Republican members of Ashland County Fair Board, backed by 2 Republican county sheriff deputies. How did they know they were Republican deputies? Did they ask them? Or were you just projecting there? They ordered the Ashland County Democratic Party to leave the county fair and shut down the booth because they disapproved of Ashland Democrats' criticism of, I guess it's supposed to say, of the Republican administration. Are you freaking kidding me? You got removed? I know they don't think this. You thought you got removed. You're going to say you were removed because there was the Republican, the Ashland County Fair disagreed with your criticism or disagreed with you calling for the death of the president. I mean, so deputies told the residents staffing the booth that they had to leave. Yes, because you broke the rules of the fair. You signed a contract for the booth, and I'm sure it says something in there about, there's always these clauses in there. They're very vague, and they're put in there for this reason. So they can basically remove you for almost any reason if they want to. But you signed up for it, and you've been there for decades, like you said. So
I gotta say, I'm looking at the picture. If you go to AshlandCountyDemocrats.com, there's a picture of the group there. And I'd say there's about 70 people in the group, maybe between 60, 70, somewhere in there. And I counted, okay, let's see, about 5 of those 70 are under 70. I mean, I'm not kidding. I mean, there's a handful more, but I mean, it is 85% geriatric.
Yes.
So I bet you they didn't even know what those pins meant.
Yeah, that's giving them too much credit, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So they don't say who gave this comment. They just say the Ashland Democratic Party released the following. They released the following statement, but they did make a phone call. I should have probably kept that part of the story, but they did make a phone call, and the person wouldn't identify themselves. Only the person. That's what they said. The person would only identify themselves as the chair. and part of me was like, okay, Fox.
Well, the chair is Heather Sample,
right? So that's why I said, okay, Fox. Like, you can't just do a search and say, oh, well, Ashland County Democratic Party. Chair, Heather Sample. And I have to thank them for having all these easy names to say. Heather Sample is the chair. First chair is David Holcomb. Second vice chair is Stephanie Saffel. Third vice chair is Matthew Jordan. Secretary is Karen, go figure, Summer. And treasurer is Sandy Bailey.
Combined age of 1,000.
Combined age of 19 million. Yeah. I see that picture, and you're right. I to be fair, I would think that if the Ashland County GOP probably looks similar, maybe it's slightly more young people in it, but tends to be who runs these things because that's who has time, I think. But like we said in most protests, if you protest on the left, it's usually gray-haired ex-hippies or whatever. So to your point.
Okay, I just went to the Republican Party Ashland County website.
You prove me wrong. Go ahead.
Yes.
That's okay. I love it.
I'm looking at they just have an event, picture.
Okay.
And there's probably nobody, it's probably reverse.
Okay.
I would say most people are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and then there's a handful of people with blue hair. Yeah. Republican Party's changed over the last decade.
Yeah, it's a good point.
And because it is I think it is a populist movement now.
So it's not just the people doing it. Oh, the Democratic Party's doing it. The Democratic Party's doing it. And this is not the only chapter. We can pretty much be confident in saying that this has happened elsewhere. Maybe not to this extent because of the fair and how close the fair was to the assassination, but yeah. As we get farther away from the actual shooting, it's getting worse because they're getting more emboldened.
Well, I think it was a green light for them. Yeah. It was kind of like, okay, who's next?
Yeah. So that's where we are today. And the next, today's going to be the show of the Steves, because the next couple clips I thought we could bring up because this is what I caught from Steven Crowder, was on Piers Morgan's Uncensored with Joel Walsh.
Jesus.
Now, there's not a whole lot from Joel Walsh here. He didn't really have a whole lot to say, except, I mean, to be fair to Joe, not that he deserves it, but to be fair to him, he was very meek. He was, you could tell he was trying to stay.
I don't know how that guy's still around. He built a career out of being a grifter. I think since 2015.
And I think one of the reasons, yes, ever since, TDS. So I think Pierce brought Stephen on because I think Stephen and Joe on social medias have been going back and forth a little bit. And Stephen had brought up some comments that he had made some comments on his show and then clarified the comments. So then Pierce brings him on to talk about those. And I thought these were pretty important because it kind of goes in line with what we've been saying. Like things feel different and things need to be different, I think, because, well, we'll see what Stephen has. So Stephen has a unique view on what we should do. Let's see.
I'm joined by Stephen Crowder for what will hopefully be a clarification on his clarification. Stephen, welcome back to Uncensored. As you know, a lot of people believed you were advocating for a violent response. You've clarified that now. And people are saying, is that a sincere clarification or have you just calmed down?
It wasn't a clarification. It was a repeat. And I stand by it. I am advocating for lawful, maybe let me clarify, ruthless violence in defense of us and our own. And if you give me 1.5 minutes, I can make it extra crystal clear if we need to. What you're seeing with Charlie Kirk is what got through. Charlie Kirk lived under a cloud just as I have. It's the reason that I stopped doing Change My Minds, where there were 12 felonious assaults, attempts at battery, and attempts on my life. And I know quite a few, and many I don't, of Charlie Kirk. I want to be clear. I want those on the left to speak freely and to be able to host their events with minimal security as they do now for the rest of their lives. Just as surely, I want them to be deathly terrified of showing up and acting with the increasing violence as they have at our events. And that goes both ways. Hey, if there's a spat of right-wing violence that's spreading across this country, treat those people the same way that we treat yours. But you won't find it.
I don't think so. Not in this context. That's for sure. After hearing, let's go on. I'll go to clip 2. Stephen says basically in this clip, enough with dealing with the threats and silence. And he had some self-reflection on it in here.
If I could change one thing, and I do believe that I'm partially responsible for this, I failed people. I've had to do a lot of soul searching. When I did Change My Mind and started in 2016, the idea was, hey, calling the left on their bluff, civil dialogue with anyone to the tune of billions of plays and hundreds of hours. And it got increasingly violent. And what I didn't tell people, I told people out there, go do this on your own campus, have these conversations. I advocated for it. And Charlie took it to another level. He was unbelievable at it. What I didn't do, I didn't tell people about the threats because I didn't want copycats. I didn't tell them about terrorists from Yemen through Sweden showing up in East Grand Rapids. I didn't tell them about concrete milkshakes. I didn't tell them about my tires getting slashed, about people trying to firebomb my car. And maybe if I would have picked up the phone, maybe if I would have used this megaphone to tell people it's real life out there and the left wants you dead, maybe Charlie would have had a fighting chance. Maybe I could have done more. Right now, I'll tell you this. I see a lot of people out there, Piers. See a lot of people out there talking about picking up that microphone. And I hope people do because the alternative is silence. But I want people to know that wherever that microphone is and whoever thinks about picking it up, you are in the crosshairs. People say bring down the temperature. Okay, how about we bring down the temperature to doing something like, I don't know, sitting down at a table and allowing anyone with a thought or opinion to discuss it rationally? Would that bring down the temperature? Because they took his life anyway.
So after hearing that, I really hope Stephen is talking to somebody because he should not be taking any of the responsibility for this at all. And I get why he says that because he is the creator of what Charlie was doing. Yeah. So he then him and Joe Walsh go back and forth, and we'll put the clips in the show notes and in the blog post and all that. He goes pretty hard at Joe, which I think Joe deserves, and he asks him a question. And to his point, he to explain a little bit more, he asks Joe, what would you do if you saw somebody about to throw something at an event? And to be fair, we come in, Stephen's very, very passionate. I mean, you could tell he was very determined in this interview, and so he's talking very fast. So in fairness to Joe didn't really hear the first couple times. So he asks it a third time, and finally Joe understands, and this is the clip.
I don't understand your question. I'm sorry. I honestly,
Someone winding up a milkshake to launch at Charlie Kirk. You don't know if it's strawberry, chocolate, vanilla, acid, or concrete. You see him before anyone else does. Do you stop him and hurt him?
Yes, I certainly stop him. I do all I can to stop him. Yes.
Good. There's a start. That's what I'm advocating. Every single person out there, because we have been living with this shadow over us. And I know, look, here's the thing too, Joe. I understand your rhetoric. I understand where you're coming from. And I know that you met Charlie when he was 16, as I understand it, right? He was very, very young. And I understand that maybe you were somewhat of a mentor figure. It's because of the failure of Republicans like you that me and Charlie Kirk exist, who are willing to take back the territory that has been conceded, and we are willing to pay with our lives. We shouldn't have to be.
That's what he means by violent or lawful violence in defense of us and our own. And what he points a finger. Joe was a Republican?
Yeah.
I don't know. Seeing some of his rants on social, I didn't think he'd be one. But hey,
I used to listen to the show before Trump, I think, even ran. I wasn't a listener, everyday listener or whatever his show was, but I'd catch it once in a while. I think driving home from work. I think they played it on our local WTAM or maybe the sports channel 850. Is it?
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Okay.
One of those channels, they would play his show, and I'd just catch it, for a half hour, 20 minutes or whatever. And he was all right. He's a good broadcaster. So he made the show interesting.
Yeah, he's an entertainer. That makes sense. Right?
Yeah. He's good at what he does. But then, oh my God, when I don't even think it was when Trump was running. It was after he won. This guy went. I mean, like serious ballistic TDS. I mean, it was bizarre.
And that's Stephen kept bringing up spineless Republicans in this whole. We don't get much of it in the clips I have, but spineless Republicans, and that's what that's what I said earlier about having a party that backs us. There's so many in the Republican Party that grasp their pearls every time Trump would tweet, especially in 2015, 2016. And I could be honest, I was kind of in that way a lot. I was like, oh, that's not necessary. I was never a big fan of Trump or his style when he was an entertainer before he was even in the political field. He wasn't my thing.
I enjoyed him, Trump. I enjoyed him on, whenever he went on Howard Stern back in the day in the 90s, he was funny.
Yeah.
And he was an interesting, person because he was a Playboy billionaire. And,
He liked to let you know that he was a Playboy billionaire.
He wasn't shy.
No.
And it was great. And when he started with his, his game show, well, not the game show, but the
reality show.
Yeah,
The Apprentice.
You're fired.
Yeah, The Apprentice.
The Apprentice. I watched the first cut. I think the first 2 seasons were really good, and then once they started doing the Celebrity Apprentice, and it just became the same thing over and over.
Yes.
And I didn't. But I wasn't that big of a fan of him on that show. I was a fan of the show because I thought the show was well done.
I've seen a few of them. I've seen clips. I actually was. I mean, I'll get into that. We don't get on a side note. Anyway, yeah, spineless Republicans. We'll get back to this. Spineless Republicans, and that's Lindsey Graham, right?
Oh well, he's
those kind of guys.
He's more than spineless.
I'm sure I can name a few other. Give me a second, but we don't need to get into that. It's because of those people who sit there and go, like that woman said, we just need to step back. We need to step back and take a look at what's going on. How many times have we done that? To Steve's point, how many times do we need to do this, and how many of us need to be shot and killed before we realize? I'm not.
Well, you know what?
We have to stand up for ourselves.
I think that game plan, or whatever you want to call it, worked back in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
But once online, social media took over and all that, and people are saying anything they want without any type of recourse, that whole, like, I'm going to play nice and by the book, or not even by the book, I'm just going to play nice, is dead, because they just keep ramping up the rhetoric. And I don't think you can do that anymore. Now you have to fight fire with fire. You just do.
Right. We have to, like Stephen said, lawful violence defending our own. Because sitting here and expecting them to do this, to give us the same respect that we've been giving them, they're laughing at us. Look at these fools.
Yeah, but it's not the. I don't think it's like. I think it's the far left. It's not like the regular Democrats or the swamp. It's just going along with it and using them.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I think.
I want to end on this question. After the assassination of Charlie Kirk, how many cities were burned to the ground? How many buildings burned?
I can't think of one.
It's still at 0, right? Well, actually, what we have instead is they're shooting their own. They're shooting the affiliate, ABC affiliate, because So no, what we saw were prayer vigils, and we still see them. There's more this weekend for Charlie.
Them protesting Disney is hilarious, because Disney was taking a lot of flack from the right because of all their woke programming. I'm not giving
Disney any credit.
Yeah, no.
I think this was very convenient for them.
I just think, yes. The guy, his main demographic, his largest demographic was from 70 plus in viewership. 70 in age, yes. 70 over 70.
Yeah, that's a sign of a dying show, I think.
So his well, yes, this was just okay, this is a good. Same with Colbert. He same thing. Nobody was watching him. Nobody in the right demographic was watching them.
Yep. And those who were watching were very few.
125,000 in the key demographic.
That's nothing.
It's nothing.
That's so small.
I wish we had 125,000.
Yeah, that would be nice. I think what they say that Colbert, we'll call him now.
That is how his parents pronounce the name.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, Colbert. He's the only person that took a simple name and made it more difficult.
That makes sense. He thinks he's much smarter than he really is, or important.
Important.
Look at his name. It's Colbert. He is silent. He was losing some estimated $40 million a year they were losing on his show. Yeah.
It's kind of fishy that a USAID got shut down and his show.
And all of a sudden they went, "Oh no, we got no money now. We got to get rid of him." And same thing for Kimball. All right. So, let us know your feedback. What do you think do you feel we need to touch on some of these national stories? We think we do. So give us some feedback. Tell us how we're doing. Share the show. Crookedrivercast.com. Give us a review on an Apple Podcast or wherever you listen to it. Tell us what you think, and send us your feedback. Let us know what we're missing and what we could do better. All right. Ooh. Well, what did just happen here? Okay, here we go. So, before we go into our next story, I just wanted to remind of us of one quote from Charlie Kirk, which I think applies here. Forgive your enemies because it really pisses them off. You know what? And screw them. That's good for your soul. Anywho, I figured we, after that segment, we should have a palate cleanser, like we like to call it. So we've got a nice little article that reminded me of myself from years ago. Or maybe last week too, but definitely from years ago. And this is from our friends at the Babylon Bee, of course. Here's the headline. Wife making weekend plans, completely unaware that husband is in heated battle for America's soul in Facebook comment section. Dateline, Toledo, Ohio. Local wife Cindy Houston admitted she was totally unaware of her husband was locked in a vicious battle. Vitreous battle, I think, right? Yeah. Virtuous battle. God, I can read. Virtuous battle for the soul of America on Facebook when she made plans for the family this weekend. She's quoted, I had no idea Clark was doing such important work this weekend when I scheduled that family outing, Cindy commented. He's got so many people he needs to respond to on so many comments on that Facebook post he made. I guess it's super important work. More important than spending time with the family, apparently. Clark. What does he say? Clark spent the majority of Friday afternoon on his phone, refreshing his feed, waiting for responses to his latest post. He energetically crafted long, violent responses to all detractors and used all his mental facilities to research statistics to back up his points, and his wife scheduled the family for a weekend of quality time. He's quoted, she doesn't get it. The fate of the nation is on my shoulders here, Clark said when told about the weekend itinerary. I'll be here fighting for the American way of life. It's up to me. And they finished the story with saying, at publishing time, Clark Houston was last seen admonishing his teen son to get off his phone and spend more time with the family. Thank you, Babylon Bee. Thank you very much. Okay, so check that one off there. Next, we can touch on a favorite subject of ours, which is the current debate going on in Ohio with our property taxes. And we have a story here from Scene Magazine, and basically touching on the fact that our great Governor DeWine's property tax working group deadline is looming. The deadline's looming September 30th. They better show up with some suggestions, or Mike DeWine's going to be very upset with him. Very, very upset. He may say something like,
hey, there's something awfully screwy going on around here.
So that's basically the story, is that they've got some things they're talking about, and then they're talking some more about it, and then they're going to talk some more about it.
Have you seen any good ideas?
No, they're basically just going over the what was vetoed. Like what was vetoed in the budget should we apply? That's kind of what they've.
I think that was the idea because DeWine didn't want to sign those. He wanted experts to go over them to see if he can sign them. But the ideas weren't so great.
Right. I think we've talked, seems like virtue signaling possibly by the Republican Party to just say we're doing something. But we did have some listener feedback on this topic. We got an email from our friend Fuzzy Wuzzy. And Fuzzy Wuzzy says here, I just read the whole thing, huh? Well, basically, He says he found you through your No Agenda donation. I normally fast forward it, but I couldn't get to my phone, so it must have been fate. They say, I'm over here in Toledo area, so your podcast is of interest to me. I found it. Let's see. I just had a comment about the Ohio's property tax bill. Something that he hadn't heard discussed, and thinking. So his view is the only reason he thinks this is being allowed by the Republican Party is because of the possibility of because of Trump's tariffs. So he is saying normally the elimination of property tax would be immediately disregarded by the government. But maybe Ohio is trying to take the first in, best dressed approach, anticipating new business coming back to the country and making Ohio might be starting the competition between other states. So basically he's saying maybe this is the GOP sensing that more manufacturing, more business will be coming to America, back to America, and making Ohio a more attractive state to move your factory to, or build a factory here. Well, what's your opinion, Tom?
I think his take is interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's I've heard it discussed on a YouTube channel. What I think you've played clips from there before. They were interviewing one of the people doing the who are trying to abolish taxes, get it on the on the ballot form.
Yeah.
And they were talking about how this would be good for the state because it could bring more business in, eliminating property taxes, and other states do it by eliminating income taxes.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting take. Thank you for emailing us.
Yes.
That was awesome. Mr. Wuzzy.
Mr. Wuzzy is,
or Mrs.
Mr. or Mrs.
Wuzzy. What?
We'll call him the Wuz.
Yeah, the Wuz. Great email, great take on this. I don't think the politicians are thinking of anything. I think they're being forced into it.
Yeah, I think
because of citizens getting together and getting it on the ballot to eliminate taxes, property taxes. And I think they are just trying to play nice, because I have heard Vivek, who's going to run for governor, probably win. I'm giving him a 95% chance of winning, even though I did get a comment from somebody on X, which we will get to maybe when it's closer to primary season, about Vivek. But anyways, Vivek, when he first announced he was running, he was talking about eliminating property taxes, and he's really walked that back. And Rob, you've mentioned that, well, okay, primary season's coming up. Once you start running, you tend to become a little bit more vanilla.
Yeah, after you win the nomination of your party, you usually go towards the center to try to get more votes.
Right.
So maybe that's what he's doing.
Right.
Yeah.
So he could be doing that, but I don't think politicians want to get. I don't think they want to get rid of property taxes one bit, regardless of what businesses want, because they give businesses tax incentives to move to Ohio anyways. Now, getting employees to move to Ohio and you got rid of property taxes, that, if a company is transferring here from another state with high property taxes, how are you going to get employees to, that you want to transfer from your previous location? Yeah. So property taxes that way might help. I don't think businesses care that all that much, because there's a ton of taxes incentives happening anyways for them. And the other thing is, no politician wants to get rid of taxes. It makes their jobs too difficult.
Yes.
They actually have to think.
Yeah, that's kind of similarly. We have not talked about this email, so it's funny how we kind of. I came to similar conclusions. I think it's a great thought experiment. I just think we're giving the Republicans way too much credit.
Yeah, that's basically it. I just
I would like to see them having this kind of forethought, but I don't know. And to the point, I don't think they allowed this. If you get enough signatures and your ballot initiative, it makes sense. They don't have to, but if they were to if they were to turn it down, there's an appeal process, and as long as all your ducks are in a row, meaning your ballot initiative is clear, you have all the signatures and this and that, it will be put on the ballot. It almost always is, unless there's something weird. And if the GOP said no, you can appeal it, and then there's a third party that would look it over. So I'm not sure how much choice they had in allowing the signatures or allowing the petition to go out there. I don't know. I mean,
yeah. In fact, I would bank on them fighting that ballot initiative once if it gets on the ballot. both parties are going to put scare commercials on the
yes
on the air to keep people from voting yes for it. What's going to happen to our schools?
Yep. And
what about the children?
Think of the children. Won't somebody please think of the children?
I mean, give me.
That's all you're going to hear.
Give me an opportunity. I'm going to play Barney. I mean, I have to.
But that's all you're going to hear. I think our listeners' take on this is awesome. I agree with them. I just don't. Yeah, like you said, I don't give that much credit to the GOP or any politician regarding taxes.
And amazingly enough, as I was going through my normal week and looking at things to talk about, and I find this video from a couple weeks ago from the Ohio School Board Association, and then we've got I didn't write his name down. Now I have to go look it up. But I have some clips from this show where they're talking about maybe some of the reasons maybe that property taxes for homeowners has gone up.
Oh yeah,
and during the clip, I'll look up the who this was because I want to get his name. But here's what he had to say. There's a little, and I put a graphic in the show notes so you can take a look at what they're talking about here. But there's a to the was point about businesses and maybe to try to make it more attractive. It sounds like maybe they've already done that years ago. So here we go. Here's what I'll get his name here in a second.
But there was one trend that started about 30 years ago that has changed the composition of who pays property taxes in this state. And in 1991, homeowners and farmers paid 47.5% of school property taxes. And in 2023, this percentage had increased to 67.5%. So It's gone up by about 50%, the share paid by persons rather than by businesses. And that's one thing that's putting stress on homeowners right now, because what that means is, instead of paying less than 50 cents of every dollar in property taxes, you're now paying 67.5%. So every levy that comes online, the homeowner and farmer share of it is going to be 50% higher than it was 30 years ago. And that's primarily because of tax policy changes that the state made to business taxes, which either eliminated or lowered a couple of major property taxes for businesses.
So yeah, and I have a graphic, and to show that graphic that, back you talk about 30 years, the lines were like this, almost equal.
Right.
And as we've gone, they've separated.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. You can listen to the numbers, or you can look at the picture and see it visually. For some people, one works better than the other, but the point is still the same, that the share of taxes paid by people is higher because of changes that the state has made. And those changes, there were sound tax policy reasons for what the state did. The problem is that in other states, those taxes that were eliminated or reduced were state taxes, so there was no local impact. But in Ohio, these were local taxes, and that's what's created problems for schools and local governments ever since.
So they've kind of already done this over the last few years, and I think we can probably hold the Republican Party responsible for a lot of this. They've actually flipped it. It used to be pretty close to even. I mean, it was.
No, here's the from 1975, it was about a 10% difference.
Yes. Yep.
With commercial and industrial paying more than homeowners, and then in the mid 90s, it actually crossed
95, basically.
So they were paying equal, and then 99, it was about 5%. And then in 2007, you're talking about, let's go to 2011, you're talking
70%.
Well, no, not that much different. There's about a 40% difference between residential and commercial, with residential paying more.
Residential paying, in 2011, residential was paying residential and agriculture were paying 70% of their property taxes, and businesses were paying 30%. Now that's shrunk a little bit. It's now 67 or 57.43.
Yeah.
Right? No, 67.
No, 67.5, he said.
Yep.
And, we don't have a detailed graph here. We're just kind of looking at it. And I would say it's about 32 and a half, something
well, whatever
like that.
the one is, it has to be the reverse, right? Because there's only two.
Right.
So that's why it's and that's state tax policy doing that, right? I mean, that's got to be from the legislature.
I don't know if that's including levies and stuff like that. So I don't know. All I know is that residents are getting screwed. So as far as, we mentioned this, eliminating property taxes would be great to get more people to move to Ohio. I don't know how much which is great for business, but I don't know if that's the ultimate reason.
I think there needs to be, somebody needs to talk to this movement, whoever that may be. There's multiple different groups that are all combining on this, but there needs to be a marketing plan on this, because I think we need to stop talking about eliminating property taxes, eliminating taxes. I think we need to talk about changing the way we're taxed. Because too many people, when I bring it up, oh, no, we can't. What about the schools? No. The schools will still be funded, just differently. We're not eliminating the tax. We will be taxed elsewhere. That's the reality. If this were to go through and the property taxes were abolished, we would probably have to have a sales tax or an add to our sale or another, you know what I mean? It's not like we're going to get off and go, oh, no more taxes. Their point is we want more focused taxes. We want a tax for schools, a tax for the roads. We want to know what you're paying. We want itemized stuff. We don't want this just bulk bill that everybody pays and nobody pays attention to. Because I've talked to a lot of people about, we can't eliminate taxes. How are they going to pay for schools? It's already there. The programming's already there.
Yeah, they've done a wonderful job programming us.
So they touched on House Bill 920 from 1973, and one of the things he touched on was we've had a similar. This happened before in the 70s. That's why we have House Bill 920. This increase, this huge jump. It wasn't, I don't think, as big as it is now. I don't think. But we had another jump in the 70s with property values, and that's why they put in 920. And I don't think he points out in this clip that I have playing, but we're the only state that did it this way. We're the only state that made this law to reduce the tax, to reduce the levy and, give people tax breaks when you have huge spikes in property taxes. Other states did it in different ways. I think more like tax credits, something to that effect, if I remember. But there's something else too, something where 920 is failing us. And this is what he gets to in this last little clip here.
If you look back, I've taken the data already all the way back to, the year 2000, and you can't find a single year where the reappraisal values were over 15%, let alone over.
Sorry, I got to interrupt. I forgot. To your point on the working group, this clip will probably address one of the things they're looking at, which is that 20 mil floor. Continuing.
Over 20% or let alone over 30% increases. And so we're seeing a historically unusual increase in property values, and it's a variety of factors. It's got to do with interest rates. It's got to do with the pandemic. It's got to do with housing stock supply. There's a lot of underlying reasons for this, but to taxpayers, they don't really care what the underlying reasons are. They care what happened to their tax bill. And, what has happened is that House Bill 920, that safety valve that is supposed to kick in when property values rise, after 45 years of it working fairly effectively, it's not working as well because there's a phenomenon that most people in this state don't know about. It's something called the 20 mil floor, and it applies to school districts. And what it means is that the school millage can't go below 20 mils. And so if you're a district at the 20 mil floor, House Bill 920 can't keep reducing that millage in response to inflation. And we've got, right now close to 2/3 of the school districts in the state at that 20 mil floor. And that's been creating problems for taxpayers in those schools.
That's the little caveat that we all have to understand. Yeah, there is a House Bill 920. There's a bill that helps this when you have these large increases in property values, but it has a floor. It can't go below a certain amount. And when property taxes are going up 30% year over year, every couple of years, whatever it is, that's one of the things they wanted to. That's one of the things DeWine vetoed, was they wanted to be able to include that 20 mil floor into the 920, into the safety valve, as he puts it. Right now, you can't turn it off. So you got a leak, a faucet. You got a leak, and you turn your valve. It still stays open 20%. So you're still going to get a flood. I don't know if that analogy works, but it sounded good in my head. And that's where we are. That's one of the things they're talking about passing, is the elimination of that 20 mil floor, or editing it, or changing it to a way that you have a little more control. Like the county auditors that can lower that 20 mil floor if they see fit. My problem with all this is, by the time they figure all this out, the property tax is going to be a problem. I mean, it's like they're starting to kind of level off already, and put 2 more years onto this, and they're going to say, "Oh, well, the problem's over. We don't got to worry about it anymore." So that's where we are with property taxes, I think. Anything on that, Tom?
If people want to keep up with their property tax issue, there is a great website called lobbyistforcitizens.com. We'll put it in the show notes.
Yep.
And we'll put it on our website and stuff too.
A lot of good stuff on it. It's going to be part of my normal reading, weekly reading, because it's a good site.
I forgot about it, and I'm actually looking at it right now, and I'm like, man, there's a lot of information here. And then I would say most of it's dedicated to property tax reform.
Yes, it is. It is very much so. Sorry, I got caught reading stuff as I'm on the
I know.
site. Sorry. All right, focus.
I wouldn't say all of it. I mean, it deals with Ohio, and it's basically a group that it's a place for citizens to. They're lobbyists for citizens. Who most businesses have lobbyists, or industries have lobbyists. What about citizens?
This is the. Oh no, I forgot his name. He is. It was one of the clips that we played. Massey. I remember his name because it reminds me of the former Florida House guy, I think it was. But his name is his last name is Massey. I don't think it's any relation, but I think he's the one with this group, because I remember him in one of the clips that we played, the interviews I saw at least. When he was going through looking at his property tax, and he was talking about whatever county he's in, the crime lab has an extra $1.5 million every year, and they don't lower it; they just bank it. Mm-hmm. And he was like, well, what he realized when he went to reach out to his local or state representative, that he couldn't get any time with them because they're too busy with all the lobbyists. And he thought, well, how come citizens don't have lobbyists? So then he started lobbyists for citizens, or citizens, whatever. Yeah, lobbyists for citizens, excuse me. And I think it's a great idea, because if anyone needs a lobbyist to be the people, So yeah, check them out. They're a good resource, and they could use all the support right now. They're really in the forefront of this abolish property taxes. On to the next one. I guess we'll touch on this real quick. Max Miller was in the news. Oh boy, Max Miller. Is he your rep? No.
Yeah.
Is he one of your?
Yeah. I think he's yours too, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, I think you might be right. So he had an op-ed piece in where was it? The Washington Post, I think. Well, yeah, I got a clip here. I'll just because they'll definitely tell us where he did his op-ed piece. Here you go.
Ohio Congressman Max Miller's op-ed appeared in the Washington Times, a conservative newspaper, on Monday.
Just in case you got it.
He wrote that Governor Mike DeWine should deploy the Ohio National Guard to Cleveland.
We could always use help in some aspect, but National Guard help, martial law, I don't think so.
That boy's about as sharp as a bowling ball.
Cleveland Councilman Brian Casey says Miller is just looking for headlines. The city isn't even in his district.
Right,
Miller wrote that his constituents in the suburbs are afraid to go into the city, especially after incidents like last week's shooting in the Flats. He also cited federal crime data showing there were 6,100 violent crimes back in 2023.
The problem is that Cleveland's always going to be the big fish to fry.
Casey says Cleveland is getting safer, Violent crime dropped in 2024, and homicide numbers are down over the past 3 years.
Oh, well. I'm not saying that we're perfect. We're not flawless, but we're not living above our means when it comes to crime.
Miller's request came the same day President Trump announced he would send the National Guard to Memphis, and just over a month after he deployed troops in Washington, D.C.
We have a better, a more appropriate, let's say, a more appropriate.
Yeah, definitely not better.
Today, Governor Mike DeWine said he will continue to use the state highway patrol to help Cleveland fight crime, but not the Ohio National Guard.
It's a different role, and that's why I'm not going to send in the National Guard to one of our cities in Ohio.
Did you see it? Did you hear him stop? I have a better. It's not a better approach. It's just a different approach. What the heck? Have you ever seen a highway patrol in downtown Cleveland?
On the highway, giving people tickets.
Yes, but have you?
On the
I've
shoreway.
never seen one.
On the shoreway.
Oh, yeah, okay. In the city.
On the shoreway, yeah.
In the city. I've never seen one in the city. I've never even seen one on the shoreway. I'm sure there have been, but I've never really seen it.
No, on the shoreway, right where the interchange is. On the, you go to 90 or you could take 2.
Yeah, okay. Oh,
they'll sit there. I haven't seen them there. What they'll do is I'll see them there for like a few weeks at a time, and then you don't see them for a long time. But they sit around.
Well, it's a perfect spot. It goes from 60 to 55 or something there, so it's perfect.
It's a perfect spot to
collect money,
wrangle up gang members.
Yes, yes, that's what they're doing. It's for your safety, Tom. It's for your safety.
Yeah.
I just thought I'd point out that if no one ever goes in a New York Times, a liberal newspaper, no one ever says that. So why?
I'm surprised they didn't say
far right.
Far right. Yeah.
Right. I do. I can't see the point. Max is probably knowing when he puts his op-ed piece out, what it's going to do.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a politician. He's trying to get views, and he's making a point. I mean, and then this comes in only days after President Trump says he's going to send troops to.
I personally think Max Miller is a spineless twink.
Yeah, good. I mean, he's a politician, so the chances are very high.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be better than the guy who he took over, but apparently not. Anthony Gonzalez, something like that. He took. We basically kicked him out, and he ran for his spot, I think.
Yeah, I believe so. And that's what the
more of the same.
That's what DeWine wants to do. Let's put the highway patrol rank. Yeah, okay. Crime. One more point, as we've talked about this many times on the show. Crime is down so much in Cleveland over the last few years. I bet that's why they decided to enact or to ask the county sheriffs to help with this downtown safety patrol. It's because crime is down, right? Is that why? No, I think the article said because of a spike in crime in 2023. So then there was a spike in 23. So naturally it would be down in 24.
Oh, the spike happened in 21 and 22 and it started in 2020. Remember, we went
right, but the articles I read were the reason they put the safety patrol in was because of a spike in 23 or something like 24, something like that.
Well, they put it in.
It was after COVID. Is my point. It wasn't the spike of COVID. They're saying there was another spike from what I remember reading. That's why because it was only that's only a year and a half or 2 years old. That highway the safety patrol. So it was started in 23.
Perhaps because cops are afraid to arrest people.
Well, that was the other thing is because a spike. They said I remember a spike in crime. And a lack of new cops, basically.
Right.
Because, I don't know, for 2 years of defund the police and complete and utter morale, they were just cops being trashed for 2 years. Yeah, nobody wants to be a cop anymore. Oh, yeah, and then there's I think Sykes has a comment in here. Is that her name? It's not in here. She says, "Oh yeah, well yeah, but we have to. We could just support the cops more." Yeah, you were the one yelling at the top of your lungs, "Defund the police." So shut it. Okay. That's enough of that. And Tom, you ready? You want to take the next one real quick? I think you have the button for this. Wait, hold on. No, wait. I almost skipped over. Hey, if you want to help out the show and give us some feedback, crookedrivercast@gmail.com. crookedrivercast@gmail.com. Check out the website, crookedrivercast.com. We have a blog post there every Monday, and when the show is posted, that way you can get links, videos that we're talking about. We're going to put more and more up there as the weeks go on, and you can check out everything that we're looking at. Tell us what you think. All right, Tom, can you help me out with this next one here? Can you do that first word for me? You got the tools.
Breaking news.
Thank you. Yes, breaking news. ODOT approved the Cleveland Browns Stadium. That's it.
Who gives a shit?
That's it. Like it wasn't going to happen. So basically, the Haslams found some extra cash in the cushions of their couch, and somehow that found its way to ODOT or some politician somewhere for their campaign. And now it's I'm just playing, of course. Mm-hmm. So I have no idea. You knew it was going to get approved. They just wanted to have some say in it, make some headlines, I guess. So that's going to happen. I just drove past there the other day, and they got big piles of dirt there. That's about it. But they're moving dirt. They're already starting.
Oh, are they?
They're already preparing the land. And to be honest with you, actually, what I noticed when I drove past there is, wow, there's a lot of work to be done, because it looks like a crap hole around there. It's an industrial area. I'm not trying to. There's hubs for like trucking companies. There's a Ford plant there. It's been blighted, a piece of land forever. It's been just sitting there empty for years. I mean, how long? It could be decades. So,
do they want it open for the 29 season? 29 season?
Yeah, that's why they got to
28, 29.
They want to start construction next year so they can be ready in 29. Pretty sure that's what it was.
So you mean like the 29
season, right?
Starting. Okay.
Well, here, how
All
about?
Right. They got time.
Yeah, it's
it's
going to be quick.
You got it. Yeah,
and it's going to be quick. And convenient enough that we're going to whip up this stadium as quick as possible, and then hand it over to the city and say, "Here, you do the maintenance on this that we rushed.
You screw this up.
Here's this building, this $1.5 billion building that we rushed to get up. I'm sure nothing's going to go wrong with it. Here, take the maintenance over on it. That
I can't believe they're not doing a retractable roof.
It's good. Maybe because the planes will be so close they don't want to. I was trying to see if they don't say what year they want to have this. I'm pretty sure it's 29 season, because that's when they're whatchamacallit's up.
The lease?
Yep, slated to open in 2029. The very last time, of course. So that was really not that news. I just thought I'd make fun of it a little bit. And on to our last segment.
We bring good things to life.
On the first good things list for today is actually pretty cool. Ohio state parks were named best in the country. Ohio was given the gold medal award. It came down to 3 states. This is interesting. Florida, Wyoming, and Ohio. And Ohio won. We beat Florida and Wyoming. The state parks.
Florida I get, but Wyoming, I'm surprised. Yeah. Well, that's, whatever you call it out there. What's the big national? It's a national park, not a state park.
Yellowstone.
Yellowstone. Yeah.
Maybe that's why, because they only got one. Maybe it's a great one, but
it's a national one. It's not an Ohio. It's
not a state. You're right.
State park.
Good point. So. There are 4 state parks around Youngstown. It says Lake Milton is the area newest, having been founded in 1988. Lake Milton was state park in 1988. Got Mosquito Lake, Guilford Lake, Beaver Creek, which were all founded in 1949. Yeah.
You can't forget Salt Fork.
Salt Fork. I've camped there.
Because that's where all the big feet are found or spotted.
Oh.
The Sasquatchan area.
I should have pulled that. Somehow I ran into a video on YouTube of Ohio Grassman?
No,
I think we talked about the Sasquatch event they had, or
yeah.
Well,
they usually hold it there, and I think there's a couple of them in Ohio, but Salt Fork, there's always one in Salt Fork.
Yeah, somehow I came across the video of the what was it? The Sasquatch call contest. I'm kicking myself now. I should totally.
That's
told it.
awesome.
It's hilarious. They're quite different calls. No, I don't think anybody really knows what it sounds like because they're at both ends of the spectrum. It was funny. There are a total of 76 state parks in Ohio, including 9,300 campsites, 1,200 miles of trails, 10 lodges, and 7,100 programs. Okay.
You know, I saw this. I saw you clip this, and I took a look at it, and then I Googled to see the Ohio State Park map, and it's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
It's impressive.
We are pretty fortunate, I think, in Ohio.
Yeah, I never take advantage of it. What the hell? Yeah. Rarely.
Salt Fork.
I mean, drive through them, but that's about
I've been
it.
to Salt Fork many times in my life. They have a beautiful lake because it's a man-made reservoir, so it's nice and flat.
Yeah.
For, skiing and tubing and all that stuff.
And Bigfoot.
Oh, yes. I mean, of course. I mean, that's the only reason to go.
He camps there once in a while.
He's got to move around. I mean, he's popular.
I saw him. He sat right in the middle of the campfire one time.
Sure that wasn't a jerky commercial? No?
I was really young and really drunk, so I don't know.
Just drunk?
You know.
You're just drunk.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
you know, like when you're doing something, drinking beverages you shouldn't be drinking when you're like about 18, 19 years old, and it's probably the last time you're going to go camping with all your buddies. There was this huge guy who just sat in the fire.
Oh, okay. I thought you were referencing the beef jerky commercials because.
No.
All right. And what can you do at some of those state parks, Tom? What are good things we could do? What's a good event to do at a state park?
Event or
a reason to go. A reason to go.
Kayaking, camping. You can go hiking. You can go searching for Bigfoot. Are you allowed to go mushrooming? I think you are. I think you can go to the state parks and look for mushrooms. Like you can't do that at the metro parks, but at state parks, I'm not sure. Don't.
You just don't tell anybody. You'd be fine.
Yeah, just don't tell anybody. But what else?
You can go look at monarch butterflies. Apparently.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that. So people, we're going to put a link in there. Monarchs typically start migrating through Ohio first 3 weeks of October. You might have missed it, but you could go to the state park and possibly catch the last glimpse of them this week. They're a little later than usual, I think, because of the weather.
Yeah, so maybe you catch them a little bit. Maybe towards the end of it, you might see some still. So yeah, the weather might have a lot to do with it. They say a lot of winds and storm fronts will push them this way. So they're thinking with the lack of rain, the storms, there might not be either. They may be late, or you might not see that many this year as in previous years. And along with that, our next little story is the dry conditions.
Yeah, I think we mentioned the next story last week or the week before about the fall colors changing.
Yeah, fall colors changing. We had mentioned that. This is more looking at what we might see a different fall color this year. And this was a Cleveland.com story, which they've conveniently locked up, so I can't see it anymore. So
they lock it up after a couple of views.
Yeah. And
mine's still open.
Basically, because of the dry conditions, it's going to be a slightly different. It could be a different fall foliage this year because a lot of the trees will turn. They're thinking they're not going to all change together like they do a lot of the times because of the lack of moisture. The
peak time in northern and central Ohio is going to be the 21st, which is tomorrow. Yep. Right. So when you're listening to this on Monday, that week and probably the upcoming week, it will be the peak for. Oh no, that's next month. What am I thinking?
Oh, October.
Okay. October 21st will be peaking. So if you're planning a little road trip or something to check out the fall colors, Central Ohio and Northern Ohio is the 21st, and then I think a week later is Southern Ohio.
So what I'm thinking is earlier might be better this year because I think you're going to have some trees changing with some aren't. So you're going to have the orange and yellows mixed with the green. And then when you this is obviously just my stupid brain, but then maybe if you go later, you're going to have those trees that have fallen, the ones that are now changed. So you're going to have, I think, you know what I mean? Like you're going to have some empty trees with colorful trees. So maybe the early better.
Well, I think the peak is going to be the 21st. I just don't know if it's going to be as colorful as usual.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more green than usual. Maybe that's what I think.
I don't know. They're calling it peak, which is later than
that's true.
normal.
That is later.
So I think they're accounting for that. So I think the peak colors are the 21st of October that week, and then for Southern Ohio, the 28th, the last week of October.
It could have a dual effect on autumn's annual show. Some species, including walnuts, dogwoods, and buckeyes, will turn early, stressed by lack of moisture.
Right.
So go check it out. Go take a drive. Turn your phone off and enjoy the beautiful state that we have, and utilize those state parks because they are awesome. And don't forget about them, because when you're sitting there going, I have nothing to do, go take a walk. Turn the phone off, turn the media off, take a walk and listen and talk to people. And on that happy note, I think we're done. I think we got everything. Let me check. Yep, we're good. Check. Oh, good. Awesome. Thank you very much for listening, everybody. We really appreciate your time. We know everybody's time is extremely valuable, including our own. So we really appreciate when we see all those people listening and sending us feedback and posting reviews would be nice. Send a review on Facebook or on Amazon. What the heck?
No,
Apple. Where did Amazon come from? Subscribe to the show. Share the show. We love that you listen. Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you next week.
Peace.